The ferry arrives every day. Tourists step onto the pier carrying backpacks, suitcases, diving gear, and expectations of a great time ahead. Some have planned this trip for months. Others booked it 2 days ago after hearing somebody say, "You have to see Siquijor." And despite arriving from different places and for different reasons, many of them share the same expression as they step onto the island for the very first time: curiosity. Because long before travelers came looking for waterfalls, beaches, and sunsets, Siquijor was known for something else: mystery. Stories of healers and rumors of magic. Stories passed between travelers for generations. Whether you believe those stories or not almost doesn't matter. The reputation remains. And perhaps that's part of the attraction. People have always been drawn to places that feel different, places that seem untouched by the pace of the modern world. And not everything has been explained. From above, Siquijor looks almost impossibly simple. A ring of coastline wrapped around a lush green interior. Small towns scattered along quiet roads. Palm trees leaning towards the sea. And water so blue it almost looks edited. Nothing about it suggests that many thousands of people travel here every year. And yet they do. Not because the island is trying to impress anyone. In fact, one of the first things many visitors notice is that Siquijor isn't trying very hard at all. There are no towering skylines, no giant shopping centers, no endless traffic jams, no feeling that everybody is rushing towards the next thing. Life moves at its own pace here, and sooner or later you realize you're moving at that pace too. Back home, life often becomes a collection of schedules, alarms, deadlines, and notifications. One obligation followed by another. Days blur together and weeks disappear. Months pass before we realize how quickly they're going. Then suddenly you're riding a scooter around an island road with the ocean beside you. The warm breeze on your face and the smell of salt in the air. No meeting to attend and no clock to watch. No destination that urgently needs reaching. And for the first time in a long while, your mind becomes quiet. Not because your problems disappeared. They're probably still waiting for you, patiently, like they always do. But for a little while, they stop shouting quite so loudly. And that's something many people don't realize they're missing until they find it again. Of course, people come here for the obvious reasons too. The turquoise water of Cambugahay Falls, the cliff jumps at Salagdoong, the coral gardens and sea turtles waiting beneath the surface, the white sand beaches where the sunsets seem almost impossibly beautiful, the kind that make people reach for a camera before eventually putting it down and simply watching. But if natural beauty were the only reason people came, there would be plenty of islands competing for attention. What makes Siquijor different is harder to photograph. It's the feeling that life can still be simple, that not every moment needs to be productive, that an afternoon spent doing absolutely nothing may not be wasted after all. This island has a way of slowing people down, not by force, but by invitation. And sooner or later, most visitors accept. The scooter rides become slower, the conversations become longer, the plans become fewer. The days become less about ticking boxes and more about being present. Even the frustrations somehow become part of the experience. Like standing in line trying to buy a ferry ticket home, only to discover the schedule has changed, or the ticket office is closed, or nobody seems entirely certain which ferry is actually leaving first. It's all part of island life. And strangely enough, by then, most people aren't even upset about it. Because somewhere during their stay, they've started seeing time a little differently. Not as something to chase, but as something to enjoy. And somewhere in the middle of all that, people begin to understand why Siquijor leaves such a lasting impression. Because what they found here wasn't just another destination. It was a reminder that life doesn't always need to be complicated, that happiness isn't necessarily hiding behind the next promotion, the next purchase, or the next achievement. Sometimes it's found in a quiet coastal road, a warm ocean breeze, a conversation with a stranger, a swim beneath a waterfall, or a sunset that arrives exactly when it was supposed to. As the day fades and another evening settles over the island, the ferries continue to come and go. New visitors arrive, others leave, carrying photographs, memories, stories they'll tell long after they've gone home. And perhaps that's the real answer to the question. People come to Siquijor because of what they've heard about the island, but they leave talking about how the island made them feel.